Hi all. So welcome again uh, to this video session, which is based upon AS400 interview questions. So that's a part 13 video. Now, before uh, discussing all these questions, let me tell you I have already uploaded uh, 12 video on the AS400 interview questions, which you can refer from my channel. So let's now move on to the questions one by one. The first question is, can you define two QSys PRT in a single program? So QSys PRT is basically a printer file, which is a program described printer file. So we can only define one QSys PRT in a single program, only one. How can we display a blank subfile? So as we know that we have a keyword SFL display, so we actually attach an indicator with that keyword SFL display. So when that gets on, it means we have to display a subfile. That another means for that is, we have some records loaded into the subfile, at least one record loaded into the subfile. That means after that only SFL display indicator gets on, else you will be getting the device error. So if in case it has no record, then this indicator would get off and you will be loading a blank subfile. Indicator off. When you get the data decimal error, so data decimal error is basically a bad data. So for example, in numeric field you are getting a character data, which is a bad data. However, you won't get, but sometimes that situations, in some situations you'll get. So other things are like, for example, your numeric field is not initialized. So in that case also they are initialized with 40404004. In that case also, if you are transferring data, you will be getting the decimal data error. So basically that's a bad data. What are the types of subfile? So subfile are basically load all subfile, expandable subfile, and the single page subfile. What are the mandatory keywords of the subfile? So the mandatory keywords are file, SFL, subfile record formats, SFL-CTL, subfile control record format, SFL display, subfile display, SFL page, how many records has to be loaded on a single page, SFL size, total number of records to be loaded in a subfile. So these are the mandatory keywords. Sixth question is difference between SFL clear and SFL inject. So SFL clear will basically clears the data whatever has been loaded onto the subfile, but SFL inject is basically clears the data and then initializes the character with blanks and numeric with 0. Difference between accept and write. So accept is basically used with the O specs whenever we are having the program described printer file. So in that case we use accept to either write a printer file, write on the printer file, or to write on the physical file or LF file which is used in that program. So that's why it is called as the exceptional write also. What is clear and reset in RPG? So basically clear and reset are two codes. So clear is to clear any value in any variable, to clear the values in any variable, for example a character, a numeric, or a logical. So in case if you are clearing a value, so it basically sets the values to the low value. So for character it's blank, for numeric it's 0, for logical it's off. But for reset, for example, if you have declared a variable, say flag 1, and you have set the initialized value with inj keyword as n. So in that case, if in the mid of the program you have changed that to the y, now if you reset, if you use the reset flag 1, so basically you are resetting that to the previously initialized value. So the originally, or you can say original initialized value, which is n, so your value will be set to n, but if you clear that, it would be set to blank. So in that case, if you want to keep the value either as a n or y, you need to use a reset, and you have to initialize the value with n at the starting. So that's the difference between these two. Now what is binding directory? So binding directory is basically contains the list of service programs and modules. So it's just like a library list. So if you are calling, for example, if you're creating a program and you are calling several procedures which are there in some modules or in some of the service programs, so you are basically binding the binding directory in your program using bnddir keyword in hspecs, and then you can call any of the procedures of the service programs or modules which are now binded through the binding directory. So now those procedures are available from various modules or service programs to your program. So that's why I said that it's just like a library list which contains a list of service programs and the modules. So when we receive the signature violation error, so signature violation error basically occurs when the signature of the service program does not match with the signature which is saved in a program. So we have created a service program and we have a program. In program we are calling that the procedure from that service program. So at the time of creation of that service program signature gets created assigned to that service program, and then when we create the program, that signature gets stored into the program as well. So now we have changed something in the service program, we have added new procedures. Now the service program signature gets changed, but we didn't recompile our program, so it still stores the previous signature of the service program. So when this program gets called, it first matches the signature of the service program with the signature saved in that program for the service program. So if it doesn't match, we will be getting the signature violation error. What is the binder language? So binder language, in simple terms, so binder language is basically, we can say, it lists out the exported procedures. Means whatever procedures we have in the service program, we can export them using the binder language. So binder language, we can use the binder language also to create or manage the service program signature, what I discussed in the receive signature violation error. So we have one way of using the binder language through which we don't receive this, we never receive this. So we'll discuss this later in some other video around it, because that's again a good big topic in itself. So it basically lists out the exported procedures in itself. What are program entry procedures and user entry procedures? So we have seen two things, program entry procedures, PP and UEP. PEP is basically, for example, in ILE I am creating a program out of many modules. We have two modules and I'm creating a program based on those two modules. Now I don't know what module to call first, so whatever the module which is defined as the program entry procedure module which gets called or take control at the first time will be the program entry procedure for that program. Now user entry procedure. So user entry procedure now come down to the module level. So the first statement which gets executed or which takes the control in that module is called the user entry procedure while executing that program. How do you import and export any data between two programs? Now let me tell you import and export. So we can use the export keyword to export the data between the binded programs, binding modules, not the programs, because we cannot bind two programs. We can bind a service program to a program. So there, in that case, we can use the export to do that. But if I want to export the data between a program and several of its modules, I can use the export and import thing. But in RPG where ILE was not there, so in that case we need to use the parameters passing method. But here we can use the export and import. But I again said, if you want to export the data, you need to bound that module to your program, else you won't be able to export the data. So for exporting data, in that case, either you need to bind the service program, but in two programs you cannot do. You can do in the same program with multiple modules binded to it. So if you wanted to share the data between two programs, either you have to bound the module of that second program to this program, then only you can do that. So this way you can achieve this. Which command is used to replace modules of an ILE bound program with other modules on the system without recompiling the bound program? So we are not compiling the program using create pgm, so we have update pgm command. For this we can update the program. What is the difference between call, callb and callp? So call, callb and callp. Call is a simply, you can say, a dynamic call where we are in the first program and we are calling a second program, so the control gets transferred to the second program fully. So that's a dynamic call. So we are calling a program. Now callb and callp are the static calls. There we know the procedure prototype, procedure interface, procedure prototype. So basically we use the prototyped call method using callb and callp. So for example, a module is there, so that module is either bound to a program or a service program, or it doesn't bound with anyone, and then in that case it bound with the original program which we are calling. So either we can use the callb to call that command module or callp. Now what is the difference between callb and callp? So for example, a module is there and we have several procedures in that is a no main module. So if that is a no main module, means several procedures are there, then that case we can use the callp to call the several procedures of that module, because that has many procedures in itself, so we can use callp. But in case if it does not have any uh, procedure, so it must have the default procedure. So in that case we need to call the module, so we will be using the callb approach, calling the bound procedure. The command which we use to build a service program is create srv pgm. What is the bind by reference and what is bind by copy? So let me tell you, bind by reference is basically whenever we are creating a module and we are binding that to the service program, and then we are using that service program into our program, then that is called as the bind by reference. But if I create a module and then I bind that module to the program directly, not the service program, so this is called the bind by copy. And then for example, I've created a module and I created the program, then in that case I can delete the module and I can take that program to anywhere on any machine and I can run that program without the presence of module. So in this case, we are basically copying all the references of that module to the program. So that's why it is called the bind by copy. So bind by reference and bind by copy is now clear, I think. What is a module? So module is an object which is not non-executable. So we cannot execute a module in itself, but we can call a module by binding that module to some program or to some service program, and then we can call that procedure of a module using that service program. What is activation group in ILE? So that's an interesting topic. In ILE, activation group is basically the subset of the job. So we have a job in itself, but there are many people who are using that job right now, for example, accessing that job. But uh, what operating system does is it creates a subset of that job, and whatever resources are required for us to execute our program, it make that a bundle and available with make us available in a activation group. So that's a substructure of a job, you can say, and it's just a specialized environment where we can run our programs. So activation group are basically three numbers. So they are new and caller, and the one option we can take is star entry module, and the other thing is named. Yes, I was not remembering that. Sorry for that. New caller named, and there is one more option, ENT mod. Let me tell you that also. So in this case, new is something whenever you are creating you are calling you are creating a program by mentioning the new. So it will, whenever your program gets called, a new activation group gets created, and then it gets discarded or deleted by the OS when your program gets end. So all the resources gets released, or all the programs in that activation groups which are activated gets released. Now caller is something, for example, we have a main program and we set, for example, the new activation group. Now if any program called from that caller, so all those programs uses the caller. If we specify star caller, so they basically uses the new activation group which is created at the time of calling that job. So that's a caller, so they will be basically sharing the sources. In that case, in the same activation group, they are activated in the same activation group. Named is something, for example, I would be giving a named activation group. So in place of new, which is created at the time of calling, the named activation group gets created at the time of calling. But in this case, the same thing will be there in case of new or caller. So with the named as well, we can specify the caller with the several call program. But what happened, at the last, we need to keep track of the named activation group when we need to delete that. So there is an overhead to delete that named activation group from ourselves. But in case of new activation group, we don't need to take any keep track of anything, because the OS itself creates the activation group and delete the activation group using the create act grp command. We can create that activation group. Now there is an option when we create the program, that is e star ent mode. So whenever we specify star ent mode, what happens, if that is an RPGLE, CLLE or COBOL CLLE, CBLLE program, so in that case it basically picks the ILE group as QILE. So QILE in that case, and if the single level storage model is used, if in case Tera space storage model is used, then in that case QILETS is used. So these are all things which basically are there in the group activation group in ILE. For more details, for details in for uh, details, you can visit my channel where I uploaded the activation group videos. I uploaded two parts. There you can get each and every information about the activation group from basic till advanced. So that's all in this video which I have to mention. I think all the questions are now covered. So thank you and have a nice time.